Let's see. We are live. All right. So today we got a subto hybrid deal that I saw get posted. 10-830 Randolph Way, Converse, Texas, 78109. 1603 square feet, built in 2021, so it's relatively turnkey. $280,000 for the purchase price. Let me just plug these numbers in right now. 3.5% interest rate. For those of you that are following on Instagram, you guys can always go to youtube.com/@Kent_HE and just give me a quick subscribe and we'll get it through for you. All right. 1814.25 is the PITI. Remaining mortgage $217,000. Seller portion silent second 48,791. 48,791.86. I'll just do it for completeness. Cash to seller 14,000. Agent commission 8,000. Wait, 8,400 equals 8,400 plus $5,000 assignment fee. Okay. No arrears. Zero that out. Total closing cost 27,400 plus closing cost transaction. So I'm gonna have 2% closing cost right there. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and look at this deal up front. So when I Googled this, let's see. Let's look at the condition of our 2021 should be relatively new build. Yeah, it looks relatively turnkey. Maybe you got to paint the place, but not much going on here. Okay. What county is this in? Bexar County. So we're going to look up the FMR, the fair market rents. I'm going to do that just by Googling HUD FMR, click on access to small area FMR, look up FY 2024 FMR, and then I got Texas, and I got Bexar County, boom. Let's see, 78109, 78109. Okay, so here's what I got right now. 2250, 2690, 2250, 2690, 2250, 2690, and that was 78109. 78109, and this is the small area FMR, SA FMR. Cool. Got a 4-bed right there. Boom. All right. And then from that point onwards, I'm going to look for the market rent. Now, in order to get the market rent, I go to affordablehousing.com, go to the owner section, market rent estimator, plug in the address, plug in bedroom count. And what I'm going to do is get the market rent. And the number you're going to care most is this number here on the bottom right, where it says that for 24 units within a 0.41 mile radius, the average market rent is $1,769. $1,769. We'll plug in the rest of these numbers right here. 1768, 1768, 1682, 1682, and that's a 0.4 mile radius. 41. Okay. Now, what happens to 4-bedroom? I'm just curious. 1865. So you literally only got less than $100 of increase. That's probably not going to be worth your investment. So I'm going to leave that one blank for now. All right. So now that I got all my rents, now what you're going to want to know is, if you had underwritten this property using 2250 instead of 1770, you might be grossly overestimating your rent. And here's why. And that's because of the rent reasonableness test. And I'm not sure you guys enjoy reading fine print, but I like to pull it up so you guys know I'm not making it up. So in conducting rent reasonableness, the Public Housing Authority, the PHA, must determine whether the rent to the owner is a reasonable rent in comparison to rent for other comparable unassisted units, which just means that you can't charge more rent to a voucher holder simply because they are a voucher holder, right? So using that methodology, you have to essentially take the lower of the two. And just keep in mind, sometimes SAFMR also includes utilities. So in this scenario, maybe I can put max $1,800 for my rent, and let's see what the PITI is. And that's when I quickly realized that this is not ideal. If my PITI is 1814 and the max rent I get is 1800, minus expenses, it's not going to be a deal. So I could have ruled out the deal right then and there without even plugging in any numbers into my spreadsheet. But let's just to prove it out, let's walk it through together so you guys can see why this is not a deal when it's all said and done. Now, let's say this was just a property and all we had to do, because it's relative turnkey, is maybe we just got to repaint the house. It's been there for about 3 years. How much is the square footage? 1603. So let me go through my rehab spreadsheet. I'm assuming that the roof is just fine. There's no issues. I got $500 to clean up the landscaping, and I got 1609 at $3 a square foot to paint the place. And essentially, I'm going to zero everything else except for maybe replacing the 2 toilets with a higher pressure flush toilet for $450 each. Everything else is essentially blank. So that gives me about $7,500 max. That's all I need on this property. At $1,800, friend, let's see, $1,800 in a silent second. What's going on silent second? No payments for 5 years, and it'll be due in 5 years. So balloon, 5 years. No payments, 0 payments. So all you care about right now is your payment of $1,814 equals $1,814.25. I'm going to the property tax number, and now I'm subtract any sort of payments allowed. Even though I had some payments in here, it doesn't really matter because all we're doing is what? We're backing into what the escrow amount should be for taxes and insurance, and then we're going to add an extra $30 for insurance because typically insurance premiums for investment properties are a little bit higher than your primary residence properties. So we have that. And then we got 10% for my maintenance. And then I got 8% for property management. And then I got 5% for vacancy, which results, if you rent it out for $1,800, you would be losing negative $458 a month. And that's a negative 13.6% cash on cash return, assuming everything else stayed constant. And that's how you quickly realize what's a deal, what's not a deal, and how to make a decision based off of the information that you had. And most importantly, figure out whether or not it's even worth your time to go and spend on this deal, which means that in this scenario, it's probably not worth your time to go and analyze all these deals and overdo it because it's simply not worth your time. And it's not going to be worth your time to send a realtor out there. It's not going to be worth your time to send a contractor out there if your exit strategy is specifically for Section 8, for long-term rentals. That's the message I'm trying to drive across, because what are we trying to do? We are trying to avoid burnout. And burnout typically comes from our ability to do a lot of work without any return on those efforts or time or energy spent. And if you do something for a really long time and you don't get any results, that's how you burn out. That's how you quit. And that's something I wish would never happen to some folks. It's inevitable, but if we learn to create our criteria, and again, this is not investment advice, I'm not soliciting any investments at all. I'm simply showing you guys the work I'm doing every single day and the habits of what we're forming. Today is day 227. And the reason I do this is so that you guys can just copy my homework. Please, just look at the same deal I analyzed today using the same spreadsheet. Just DM me your email on Instagram at InvestWithKenHe, and my team member, Pia, will send over the spreadsheet to you. That's it. No other ulterior motives. I want you guys to be able to create your own YouTube channel, put the analysis on your own YouTube channel, and so that you, when the time comes, you can go back and look at your own YouTube channel and say, wow, I know what I'm doing. I'm on day 227. Or you can even shortcut. You can copy 3 of them at a time, and all of a sudden you would have chopped down what I did in 227 days to less than a third of that. Right? Just remember, all these is just 18 minutes a day of analyzing deals, and you would be better at analyzing deals than 95% of the country. Might that give you some confidence that you know what you're doing? Might that give your partners more confidence that you know what you're doing? Because they're going to ask you why this is a deal. And if you're able to show your resume, your track record, your consistency of analyzing deals every single day, people are going to respect that. Some people might come to you and say, hey, I've got no track record. Well, start creating a track record. Start showing people that you know what you're doing. People will know what you're doing by the evidence that you have. Just like if you were applying for a job and you have a resume, they might call for references. They might call to make sure that you really worked at the place, right? Well, that's what a YouTube channel is. You're creating a clone of yourself. It's going to do work for you, and it's going to be a resume. And that's what I'm really emphasizing. If we're truly trying to help millions, if not billions of people, we got to work on ourselves first. And this is hopefully just what you do on an everyday basis, because if a deal came across the table and slapped you across the face, can you recognize that there's a deal on the table? How important is that? So best time to start was yesterday. Second best time to start today. Come on, let's do it with me, man. And make sure you tag me whenever you do it. And I'll be your number one supporter, man. So, hey, I appreciate all your support. Thank you so much for caring about affordable housing. Seriously, thank you, everybody, for being part of this community. I'm so grateful to have met so many folks that the outpouring of support is so wholesome. That's probably the best word I can use. And it's really refreshing, because I get to see that there's still good people in this world that still cares about affordable housing, that still cares about making an impact. Thank you so much for caring about affordable housing, because without people like you guys, I would have never had the home I grew up in. I really mean it. And I know I say it every day, but I really, really mean it. And if I don't say it every day, then how would I mean it? So thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate your time. I'll be back here tomorrow for day 228. Let's keep this going, guys. All right. Have an amazing day. I hope you guys spend some quality time with your family and friends today, because that's what life is all about. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one.